But yeah, so I've got some slight weathering. I didn't want to go overboard. I didn't want to make it super rusty or anything like that. I just wanted to make it look like it's a car that's used, a car that's driven. Welcome back to the Workbench, where we try to make things, and we're continuing to try to make the Revell 1971 Mach 1 Mustang for the Blue Ox Model Shop's Street Machine Group build. And over the weekend, what I worked on is the underside of the chassis. So we're still waiting on some parts for the motor. Got to wait on that. I did see they delivered, so they should be here soon. I think in the next couple days, maybe even today, we'll have to see. Interior is done, so that we've kind of just set aside. We'll finish painting the body, but in the near future. But what we're working on right now is the the underside of the chassis. The chassis, the bottom of the car. We're working on this side of the vehicle, and so what I got a good bit done over the weekend. Basically, the first thing I started doing was just kind of giving a nice weathering coat. Hopefully, you can see this. Let me show it down below. I think maybe the lighting might be a little better. I don't know. We'll try both. But yeah, so I've got some slight weathering. I didn't want to go overboard. I didn't want to make it super rusty or anything like that. I just wanted to make it look like it's a car that's used, a car that's driven on the street, enjoyed, a car that is somebody's spent time building and then they go out and enjoy it. So we've got just some light scuffing on the chassis, just a slight bit of rust. I was looking at pictures of the Mach 1s, undercarriages of the Mach 1s, and most all of them, you just had slight rusting on the leaf springs. So I guess that's something that happens, is common, I don't know. So I try to just give it just the slightest look of, just a little dirty, rusty, just a little bit, just barely, not much. None of this is glued in, by the way. I can't actually install any of this yet, but you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. Oh, I did chrome the tips also. So the tips are now chrome. I did a little work on the exhaust. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more discoloration and whatnot on the exhaust. I still haven't, or I will need to add shocks. So the shocks have not been put in yet or mocked in yet, but that shouldn't be a problem. But what I did want to point out that I have done, let me start pulling things apart. Come back up top here, and I'll try to take this apart very carefully. This one likes to stick, and I do not want to break. What do I have? All my work stuff is downstairs. My X-Acto's downstairs. I don't want to break. There it went. Okay. I don't want to break that little tab that holds the rear end in there. But let's set that aside. Let me set the exhaust aside. I want to be very careful of these chrome tips. You guys know I painted this chrome, I would say at least 48 hours ago. But as we all know, it takes a year and a half to actually dry. So I'm trying to be very careful with those chrome tips. So I'm going to set those aside. And what I've actually been working on is the fuel system. So last time we talked about, I just wanted to put a fuel pump. Can you guys see it? I'm going to come back down below. I wanted to add a fuel pump right here on the fuel tank. And I just used a coil, an ignition coil, to kind of mimic a fuel pump. Hopefully you guys can kind of see that. I added a little fitting that turns into the tank itself, just to give that impression that we're connected to the tank. And then I've been running 24 gauge. What actually took the most time over the weekend is running this 24 gauge beading wire as a fuel line. And I'm going just hard line or solid line or whatever you want to call it, metal line, all the way up to the engine bay, where I've turned it. Hopefully you guys can see it's turned up this way. And then I've got it just kind of loosely hanging here because we're going to go over the tunnel. And then from there, we'll probably go soft line, which I have my fuel line here. So I have soft line. I think I'm going to use this for both the soft fuel line and brake lines, because I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to have to run brake lines, which I have not done yet. I think the brake lines come up the tunnel from what I can see on just trying to look. It's actually hard to find pictures of this stuff, but what I can tell, and if you know, by the way, if you know the answer to this, please let me know down in the comments. I believe the brake line, the rear brake lines, I should say, run down the transmission tunnel, and then of course split on the top of the rear end. So I need to do that also, but I'm also going to have two front lines, one that just runs very short, shortly, very short distance to the, what is that, driver's side of the car. But then I'm going to have a second one that comes down and I guess I'll just have it follow. I'll have it follow this fuel line kind of over the tunnel and then come over to the passenger side front brakes. But I need to run. I guess what I was getting to is I'm going to use those soft lines, the soft fuel line, also of course, from the fender well to the, to the brakes, say front and back. Well, no, back I don't have to. I'm sorry, just in the front. Back I'll run solid line. Basically, does it run solid line on a? It's been so long since I've had a solid axle rear, a solid axle rear end. I'm sure it's soft line somewhere in there, right? But it doesn't have to be because it moves all together. Up here, obviously, we need soft line because this is going to move. Same with coming from the fuel line coming from the firewall. We're going to have to run soft line to the motor because obviously the motor moves and you don't want a hard line. You'll break your hard lines. But we also need to go to, and something I kind of forgot, we need a fuel filter somewhere. Would be kind of nice, I guess. We would need a fuel filter. I guess we could attach it maybe back on the firewall, or maybe we can run the hard line around over onto the fender well and then come soft line to the carburetor. I'm not sure how. I'll have to look and see how they do that. I don't know. If you know, let me know down in the description. Please let me know how I should be running all these lines. But this is going to be kind of time consuming, actually. It took me a little while to make all these bins. And they look okay, I think. I think it's going to look good. I think the fuel pump looks good enough down there. It gets really covered up by, there's going to be a shock that runs right there, the rear end, the exhaust. It just kind of gets buried in there. So I think it does the job. I'm contemplating whether I should run a return line, right? Because there should be a return line, I would think. I guess there would be a return line on these cars, which usually is just soft line. So I don't know if I want to try to run. I don't know if I want to do that or not. I do know I want to add a little bit of probably black wash or something to this beading wire. It's awfully shiny. You know what I could have done and probably should have done? I didn't think about it. I probably could have just taken, I probably could still do it with maybe like a little stick or something. I probably should have sanded it down a little bit and taken the sheen off of, taking the shine off of it, make it a little duller. That's probably what I should have done before I installed it. Of course, it's installed now, so I don't want to pull it out. I don't want to try to put it back in. But I might be able to get in there with a little sanding stick or something, take some of the sheen off of it, and then add maybe a little black wash to give it a little dirtiness, just to make it's too shiny underneath here on this under chassis. There'd be grime, a little bit of grime. Obviously this guy, he hits the power washer under there every now and then or something. Down at the quarter car wash, he sprays the undercarriage or whatever. But it would still have a little bit of staining and whatnot, I would think, just from use. But anyways, that's kind of where we are with the underside of the chassis. Let me know what you think. I think it looks pretty good. I think the rear end looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it as to how it turned out. Let me show it up top here so get that lighting. I think that looks pretty good. I think I do think, I'm going to be very careful with this, I'm going to add a little more discoloration to the exhaust just to give it a little older look. I do want to keep it clean, like it's a new exhaust that's been put on. He's been doing the upgrades on the car and he put new exhaust on. But I do want it to look, again, like it's actually run and been used. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any answers on how these lines run from front to back on these cars. I really don't know. I'm just kind of making it up. Let me know what you think about the fuel line so far. Should we run the soft line for a return line back to the tank? And I'm assuming that would probably just follow. It would just follow the fuel line that's here, the sending line, the fuel line. Let me know on that, what you think. I don't know. Leave me those comments down below. Let me know what you think so far. I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out so far. I think I should have parts today, if not tomorrow, where we can finish up the motor, because I really want to get that motor installed, because then we can actually put this stuff in permanent, like the exhaust and the rear end with the drive shaft. We can get that installed and really see how it's going to look, which means then we could get, once that's done, we can get the interior in, because the interior is done, and then it's just body work from there, or really paint from there. So anyways, let me know what you think. I appreciate you joining me. I'm really having fun with this one. I'm going a lot further than I planned on, or at least trying to. This is really the first time I've tried doing these kind of very detail-y things. Let me know how I'm doing down below. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. I really would appreciate it. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed. Hit the subscribe if you really enjoyed it. The subscribe button. All that stuff's free. It's free to hit the like button and subscribe. You can always unsubscribe. I guess you can always unlike too if you really want to. Anyways, let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all those things you do on YouTube, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.